Oh, hey guys, it's your boy Luke from Luke's Garage Gym. Today we're going to talk about Ritfit. In regards to budget gym equipment, Ritfit has been one of the top brands that people look for to start their home gyms. And today I'm going to talk about their two most popular racks is the M1 2.0 and the Buffalo all-in-one rack to see the differences and see which one will make the right sense for you guys in your home gym. Stick around to find out. Alright guys, so in today's video, we're going to break down two of Ritfit's most popular racks. If any of this content from Ritfit is helpful to you, your boy has a link in the description. You buy anything through Ritfit's website, either one of these racks or any equipment through Ritfit, I get a small kickback to help me, the creator, make more content like this for you guys out there in the home gym. So I wanted to try a different spin on doing these rack comparisons, and I haven't made one of these in a while. I did one obviously with the competitor, Major Fitness, and I wanted to do something similar here with Ritfit. Ritfit has their 2.0, and they also have their Buffalo rack. So Ritfit originally had the M1, and they came out with the upgrades with the 2.0, and then they came out again with the Buffalo rack. So I've reviewed both those racks, and they are budget-friendly pieces of home gym equipment. Let's just talk about when I say budget-friendly home gym equipment, it really comes across to the frame of the racks. Frame of racks that are budget-friendly are going to usually be 14 gauge steel. Some of these brands are starting to come out with, I've seen some do 13 gauge or light commercial, but budget-friendly racks, they're good for beginners or most intermediate to novice lifters. Ritfit has these to provide for you guys. I want to break down both the racks, and I've reviewed both of these. So we will have clips and showing you guys things as we go. But I want to first talk about the price between the M1 2.0 and the price of the Buffalo rack. Looking at the price of the M1 2.0, it's around $1,100. And then if you're looking at the price of the Buffalo all-in-one rack, it's around $1,700. You can kind of tell, like, the price is pretty substantial between the two. And what really is the difference between the two? Well, let's first talk about the frame of both the racks. So the frame of the M1 2.0 is 2x2 uprights. So they say it's 50 by 50 and 1.8 millimeters in thickness, and it has 1-inch holes. And then the Buffalo rack, they say is 50 by 75 by 2.2 millimeters, and it's essentially 2x3 uprights. They say the Buffalo uses military grade number 13 steel with 2.2 millimeter wall thickness. So they sent me some fancy notes about that. So any engineer out there can let us know in the comments. And personally, in my opinion, you got 2x2 for M1 2.0 and you got 2x3 for the Buffalo rack. Both still offer 1-inch holes, which 1-inch holes are universal for rack attachments. Talking about the M1 2.0, they have the ability to add weight stacks, and they sell out very fast. So I would definitely notify yourself if that's interesting to you, and then you'll get an email about that. Make sure you check out that link in the description, winky face, to help your boy. But the Buffalo rack, and this is what they've said to me, and I've seen it on their website too, is they're not offering any weight stacks for the Buffalo rack as of now, but things obviously can change when they get stock and if they're looking to upgrade this type of rack too. Now, let's go on to the next part. So these are all these all-in-one systems. You get the front uprights for like a half rack, essentially, and you have a Smith machine, and then you have your pull-up bar, your cable systems, all the versatility, which we'll dive more into. But the cable system is one of the most important things of both these racks, and both of these racks, according to Ritfit, both are 2x1. Come on, you made 100 of these videos, Luke. 2-to-1 ratio. They're 2-to-1 ratio, and the uprights, the beams uprights they're gliding on are made of stainless steel, and they both can do 420 pounds per side. So you do the math. The cable system in total can hold up to 840 pounds, which is a ton of weight. Now, no one's going to be putting that on there, but you got to think about the fact that the 2-to-1 ratio, if you're putting on just a 45 on each side on either the Buffalo or the M1 2.0, that's 90 pounds. You got to divide that by 2 when you're doing your pulling movements, which will never really be a factor, an issue until you're doing a row or you're doing a lat pull down, which we'll cover that too in regards to height and all the different just depth, etc. that comes with both these racks. Let's go in next to is the J-hooks and spotter arms of both the racks. Now, you're not getting anything that's fancy, high quality. Again, budget-friendly pieces of equipment. The M1 2.0 comes with J-hooks that they're just cheap. They're not anything fancy. They hold up to 575-pound weight capacity, which makes sense for being a budget-friendly J-hook. And then their spotter arms, they say it holds 575 pounds as well. Now, when you're going over to the Buffalo rack, they upgraded their Buffalo rack with the J-hooks and the spotter arms. The J-hooks are beefier, they're thicker, and it says they can hold 1,700 pounds. Did they test that to show that? No idea. But you can tell by looking at the difference between the two, it's a lot beefier and a nicer J-hook compared to the M1 2.0. And you can tell the spotter arms too are just a nicer upgrade, and they say they can hold 1,300 pounds, which is an extreme amount. No one, again, these racks, no one should be doing over, I wouldn't even say like 3 plates, honestly, because they're not meant for that. It's just not. These are budget-friendly pieces of equipment. Let's talk dimensions of both the racks and talk about how that makes a difference in buying something like this. So as I'm going here, if you got any questions in the comments, please let me know. I also have my email too. I will respond to you guys with any questions about these products. Let's start with the M1 2.0. The height of the M1 2.0 is 85.3 inches. The length with the Smith bar of the rack, so length this way is 79.1 inches. The width of the rack is 68.1. The weight of the rack, so the total weight of the rack, obviously we're not putting any plates on it at all and just putting it together how it is, weighs about 339 pounds. The Smith bar weighs 33 pounds. And the footprint is around 22.46 square feet. And it says it can hold up to 1,500 pounds max before it crumbles to the floor. So talking the height, the taller it is, the better range of motion for guys like, who's 6 foot. If you're doing a pull-up, your arms aren't bowed. Or if you want to do a lat pull-down, you have a better chance of having better range of motion when you have the trolley at the very highest point. So that does make a difference with a taller rack, fixing those issues for guys that are, I would say, probably 6 foot or taller. Now, let's talk about the Buffalo rack and its specs. The height of the Buffalo rack is 83 inches, so it's shorter. The length of the Smith bar is the same, pretty much the same as the M1 2.0. It's 79 inches, so 0.1 difference there. The width is 68, so 0.1 difference. The weight of the rack, now this is a heavier duty rack. Again, 2x3. Again, they have military grade number 13 steel. So this is a heavier duty rack, according to Ritfit. So you're getting well over, doing the math, just looking here, over 139 pounds. So a heavier rack, it is making it a little bit more robust and durable, so it can take a little bit more impact when you're doing, especially your main Olympic lifts on the front of the rack. The Smith bar weight is, they say it's 30.75 pounds. I mean, when I was using it, it felt the exact same. I'm not really sure the exact difference of what they even did. When I was using it, I really didn't feel much of a difference between the two. I did not physically weigh the bar. I tried weighing stuff with my scale, and I still don't have a fancy scale, but the bar felt the same. But according to the specs of their website, the Buffalo bar is a little bit lighter. So keep that in mind if you're doing the math in your head using the Smith machine. The overall footprint of the Buffalo rack is 38.1 square foot, and it still can also take a max weight of 1,500 pounds. So looking at the two, what you can tell, what stands out the most, I would say definitely height is a big difference for guys that are taller for range of motion, where the M1 2.0 definitely wins that category. But if you're talking about a more robust, durable, heavier duty rack, that if you were to do, let's say you really wanted to get something like this, you're balling on a budget, you went on Facebook Marketplace and got a bunch of weight for cheap, you can't spend a ton of money. The Buffalo rack is a more durable option. It's a heavier rack. It's got a little bit more beef to the upright because it's 2x3 compared to the 2x2 of the M1 2.0. So that does play a factor. But again, it all depends on preference. All right, as we keep going along, what kind of accessories do you get with the M1 2.0 and the Buffalo rack? So the M1 2.0, the accessories you guys will get is you got your J-cups, your J-hooks, your spotter arms. You have a foot tube. It's a little tube that you use to put your foot on so when you're doing a row, so it keeps you stable. And then you get is a quick, they say it's a quick release landmine, a landmine. You get a lap bar, D handles, a landmine bar, dip handles that they say can hold up to 560 pound load capacity, which the dip handles are cheap, dude. They are. And there's no grip on it. And they're a budget friendly dip handle. Again, budget friendly is the whole point of the name of the game with Ritfit. The pull-up bar is multi-grip. So you're able to you can do neutral grip, you can do different variations with the pull-up bar, which a lot of people do like that type of pull-up bar compared to the one with the Buffalo, which I'll talk about in a second, which just has 2 different sets of handles. And they say the pull-up bar can hold up to 570 pounds, which is, plenty. Like, I'm a 200-pound guy. I can barely put 45 pounds on myself. So that's not even close to weight capacity. And when I was doing pull-ups, the rack was not shaking back and forth, feeling like it was going to tip over, because it already weighs well over 300 pounds, the M1 2.0, so you're not going to have any issues with that. Now, let's talk about the accessories you get with the Buffalo rack. So the Buffalo rack, you get the beefier J-hooks, the nicer spotter arms, which, by the way, I didn't mention, the spotter arms have those little 1-inch holes. If you were going to use it, maybe you wanted to slide in an attachment or something like that to store it. I mean, that's there for your convenience, which is, depends on what you're going to use that for. You have a footboard for this, where your feet can sit flush, compared to where you have the M1 2.0, you just have that tube. So you're getting fancy with the footboard for your 2 feet. Now, it's not adjustable, though. The foot plate is not adjustable, so you're in a fixed position when you're sitting down doing your low rows. It has a landmine. Didn't say quick release. It's just a landmine. It's the same thing. You get D handles, a lap bar, a landmine bar, which I noticed they did do some different upgrades with the Buffalo rack in regards to the attachment. It's got like the ability to like twist to tighten it. The dip handles, they say it has a load capacity of 400 pounds. Honestly, guys, there's both of them, both racks the dip handles really aren't much different. Zero grip on it. They're just a budget-friendly dip handle. You're getting what you pay for with the dip handles. Don't expect to get anything fancy with either rack. It is just what it is. And the pull-up bar, it's got your inner and your outer grips. It's not an attached pull-up bar like you do with the M1 2.0, so you can do more narrow and wide grip. And it says the weight capacity is 573 pounds. So the same thing, essentially. So, and the rack is heavier, so again, that thing's not moving. It's over 400-pound rack, the Buffalo rack. So you're doing again, same thing, 200-pound guy, 45-pound plate, 245 pounds. If I'm going to be doing 10 reps, that rack ain't going anywhere, dude. It's a lot heavier duty rack, which heavier the rack, the better. The lighter the rack, you're going to have to weigh it down, and then you're looking into a lot more instability issues. So not an issue with either of these racks. Now, the thing that comes with the Buffalo rack that is new is the leg press attachment. Personally, when I was reviewing it at my buddy's house, I used it. I'm not gonna lie, I used it like 3-4 times, and it just wasn't my favorite thing. I just think I have a hard time like hooking it in, and I had a lot of instability. But I've seen a lot of people who say they like it for doing like a leg press. They feel like it's a different option. It does add versatility. So they put that in there for people looking to add more to their training. All right, so we're now on the upright holes and hole spacing, and then the Smith setting, how many you have when you're doing your different lifts. So starting with the M1 2.0, they have 12 holes in the front upright. So you don't have a ton of ability to get your different positionings when you're doing the main lifts. So like when I say main lifts, like you're in the front of the rack doing a squat or a bench, you only have 12 settings. So obviously people's body types are different. So at the range of motion could be an issue for some people when you're not having enough holes on the front uprights, where some new racks are coming out with 30, where this only has 12. The trolley holes, there's 15 trolley holes for when you're doing your functional trainer, which, again, not as many trolley holes, not as many upright holes, could have range of motion issues for certain people, but not for everyone. Just something to keep in mind. But I've never ran into or saw an issue online of people saying not enough hole spacing, so I can't do anything, and my range of motion sucks, or not enough hole spacing for the functional trainer, so my range of motion sucks. I've never seen that, but I know it's just something to keep in mind, that A lot of companies bring out more of that so that you never have to run into that issue. And the Smith hook, so you have 11 adjustments when you're using the Smith bar, so that, I know people when they're trying to do a bench, I've seen a lot of videos where, the setting they're at, they still got a little bit of a gap, so they're not able to do the full range of motion. I think the more Smith hook options, the better, so people don't have to run into that issue, so they're able to get full extension at the bottom and all the way up. So they have 11. For some people, that's not an issue. For me, I don't have that problem, but it's someone who might have different body types could be an issue. But again, it all depends on the customer. Let's talk about the Buffalo rack. So the Buffalo rack has 14 holes, so 2 more than the M1 2.0. They have 14 trolley holes, so it's the same thing. So it says a little bit less. So it's the even amount of upright hole and trolley holes. So pretty similar to the M1 in regards to that. It's just they have 2 more upright holes compared the Buffalo does compared to the M1 2.0. But the Smith hooks, they only have 9 hooks for the Smith bar. So if you're thinking about the lower you can get to the ground if you want to do hip thrusts, might become an issue for people, because I think about these budget racks. They personally don't design these to go very, very, very low to the ground. Mainly I've only seen that with more commercial grade Smith machines to go low to the ground and do hip thrusts, which either of these racks could be an issue for a lot of people because it comes up so high off the ground. You're going to have to get creative and stack plates or stack things up to be able to do that. But again, 9 to 11 Smith hooks total between the 2 racks, which you guys will have to let me know in the comments. Is that a huge issue for you? Does that make you wary of if you're not really able to get full range of motion? Which, again, I've used both these. Again, as a 6 foot guy, I haven't had the issue of not getting full extension all the way up for bench, or even if I wanted to do like an incline as well. And let's go to the last thing, and I'll give you my honest opinion which one would make the most sense for you guys after using both and breaking both down. Storage options. Storage options are huge. I've noticed some certain budget racks out there, competitors don't give much of that, so you're having to go and buy more storage separate from what they offer, which I love that Ritfit does offer storage options for both their racks. So the M1 2.0, you have 4 hooks for your accessories on the back on the nameplate. And then you have a hook that you can put up to 3 Olympic bars. Maybe you got a curl bar, a trap bar or something like that, and you have your Olympic bar. And then you have 6 weight plate holders, so you're able to put your plates on the back, which is nice. Obviously, having your plates on the back stored away is nice for extra stability, but having the weight on the back of the rack, seems to be weary of people because of the sheer fact that you're going to have to push it off your wall a little bit, so you're able to get in and out of the back of the rack to be able to put the plates on and then put it on your Smith machine and on your bar. And I haven't seen any of these budget-friendly all-in-one racks. Personally, the competitors make it so where the storage is on the side of the rack, so it comes in and off, so you can push this thing to the back of your wall and not have to worry about that. Just haven't seen that yet. I don't know if they're able to engineer that or not, but that's something to keep in mind. So that's the storage for the M1 2.0. Let's go to the Buffalo rack. What do you get for the Buffalo rack? Well, you get 2 barbell holders on each side. So, the basics, think about the basic home gym person. It's one person using this, or maybe a husband and wife. You have your barbell, and you can use the other side for her barbell, or, you can curl bar. So you have those options, which is nice to have the ability to store your bars on the Buffalo rack. And they also they only have 4 weight plate holders on the back side. So you're able to put your weight on the back, the same thing, not on the side. Now, they don't have as many plate holders as the M1 does, but think about the rack is heavier. So it's a more robust, heavier duty rack. So yeah, you only have 4 options for plate holders, but you are having a heavier rack. So it's not really much of an issue if you don't have as much storage, unless you're having, a ton of plates laying around. Obviously then you would have to come into the thing you would have to do is buy a separate plate holder, which there's so many out there for cheap. But you just have to keep that in mind. All right, so what I want to do is I want to give you my opinion on if I was not a YouTube reviewer, wasn't this influencer guy that makes videos all the time, and I was just a consumer after watching this video, my personal opinion of which one would make the most sense, Well, I would say I would buy the M1 2.0 over the Buffalo rack. Here's my reasoning. My reasoning is, first of all, I put myself in the shoes of a school teacher salary. I see, a price that between the two racks, this price, the M1 2.0, is around $600 cheaper. And it's very similar specs. The really only difference is the M1 2.0 is a lighter rack and it's not 2x3 uprights, but really you're still able to get a lot of accessories, a lot of versatility, and this from the outside coming in, the pulley systems, the Smith machine are pretty much the same exact thing, as the two racks combined. And what I really like about the M1 2.0 is that right now, Ritfit is only bringing out weight stacks for that rack. And if you were to get weight stacks, the price is around the same with the weight stacks in the M1 2.0 as just buying the Buffalo as it is. So I'm not saying the Buffalo rack is a bad rack at all. It just, for an outsider coming in, when I see that price and see the upgrade and it's around the same price with the weight stack in the rack as the Buffalo, that one would make the most sense for me. You guys let me know in the comments what you think. Now, I think Ritfit is doing an amazing job of giving affordable options to the home gym people, because I would say, I've said this for 95 to 99% of people out there are not Arnold Schwarzenegger getting jacked. So they look online and look at Ritfit to figure out what's best. So let me know if this is helpful to you guys, breaking down both racks to the bits, to the core. And obviously, me reviewing it and using it too gives me a lot of options and giving my honest opinion for you guys. So if this was helpful for you, please check out the link in the description. Your boy really would appreciate you supporting the channel, because hey, me and the lady, we could use that kickback to bulldoze this garage, and let's keep getting all the racks in here. And then your boy is able to review all these racks in person, back to back. Appreciate checking that out, and I appreciate all you guys watching this video. Again, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button as well. Cannot wait to bring out more content for you guys out there on Luke's Garage Gym this year. This is Luke for Luke's Garage Gym. See you guys later.